going to start off with just saying, all right, a to the 1 divided by n power is going to be equal to the nth root of a to the first. So ways you can remember this is the bottom of that fraction is our index or our root. If you notice the n here, n is the root. The way you can remember that, n is on the bottom of the fraction, and we call it the root. The root is on the bottom of a tree. So roots are on the bottom of the tree, root is on the bottom of that fractional exponent. And our 1 is our exponent, that's just still up top there. So root on the bottom of an exponent, like the root on the bottom of a tree. Other part we want to remember is if we have negative exponents, if I have a to the negative 1 over n, first thing I want to do is make that base, that exponent positive, and I can do that by moving that base of a to the bottom of the fraction. So I get 1 divided by a to the 1 divided by n power, and then I can change that a to the 1 divided by n into the radical form like we saw above. So I get that this is equal to 1 divided by a 1 divided by the nth root of a to the first power. Okay, for 36 to the 1/2, again, the radicand is the base. So I'm going to put a radical around the 36. The root is on the bottom of the fraction, so there's a 2 on the bottom, so that's our root. Just like the root's on the bottom of a fraction, the root's on the bottom of a tree, the root is on the bottom of that fractional exponent. Our exponent is 1, so we're putting 1 out top there. So now we're saying, all right, what's the square root of 36? 36 to the first, which is just 6. Square root of 36 is 6. 6 to the first is 6. Okay, similar with 64 to the 1/2. The base of the original problem is 64, so that becomes our radicand. The root is 2. Our exponent can be 1 out top there. The square root of 64 is 8. And that's just 8 to the first, which is 8. For the last one, 27 to the 1/3. Now, we still have the 27 as the radicand, but now we have the cube root because that bottom is 3. And so now we're saying what times itself 3 times is 27? 3. Just 3. 3 to the first, which would just be 3. Okay, so take a moment. You can skip letter C for right now. Take a moment with your table and try those 4. Again, skip letter C for right now. So you're doing A, B, D, and E. Come back to C in a moment. All right, so for the first one, again, 25 would be our radicand. We're taking the square root of that raised to the first. So the square root of 25 is 5. 5 times itself 2 times is 25. For B, we're taking the cube root of 8 to the first. The cube root of 8 is 2. Again, we're going to come back to C in a moment. For D, we are taking the cube root, the radicand, the base is -8. So the radicand has to be -8. So that -8 is underneath the radical. We're taking the cube root of that. So we're saying what times itself 3 times is -8? -2. And then for E, we have a negative exponent. So the first thing we're going to do is move that 27 to the bottom and make that become a positive 1/3. And then we leave that 1 on top. The 27 is going to stay on the bottom and become the radicand. And we're taking the cube root of 27, which is 3. So 1/3 should be your answer for E. Now, looking at letter C. So if you didn't write letter C down yet, take a moment and write letter C down. What is the difference between C and D? Right. D, there's a negative in the parentheses. Here, the negative's not in the parentheses. So for this one, we're really doing -1 times 81 to the 1/4. So according to PEMDAS, what do we have to do first? Exponents or multiplication? Exponents. So we have to take care of this 81 to the 1/4 first. So that's going to become the 4th root of 81, and then we're multiplying that by -1. 4th root of 81, what times itself 4 times is 81? 3. So we have -1 times 3, which is -3 in the end. If you did not realize the difference between the two, and you wrote it as -81 and the 4th root of that, can we take the 4th root of -81 if you did it like that? No, because again, you cannot never take even roots of negative numbers. So that has no real answer. So just be careful of parentheses versus not. All right, and the last thing we're going to look at is just adding a little bit to it.
You don't do questions.
So if you have a to the m over n power, so now instead of having just a 1 on top, the same thing holds true. Okay, if you just have the letter m on top, okay, that's going to be your exponent, and the bottom of that fraction is still your root. Okay, so we don't have to have just a 1 as our exponent, we can have anything. And notice where that exponent can go. The root is still the bottom of the fraction, but that m can either go on the outside as the exponent, or it technically can go as the exponent for the a underneath the radical. But either way, it has to be an exponent. So if I were you, I'd write this. I would write a to the m over n equals the n root of a to the m. And then if you want to shorten it up a little, you can just write equals the nth root of a to the m like that. That's the way you can shorten that. This middle way is the way that we're going to want to write it most times, though. And we'll see why in a second. So if you look at 27 to the 2/3, I can write 27 to the 2/3. 27 is going to be my new radicand, because that's the base of the exponent. 3 is our root, it's on the bottom. And I can put that exponent out top, just like I have here. The exponent, the top of the fraction was out top. Yeah?
Why are the top and bottom still?
What do you mean? This one versus this one?
Yeah.
They're still equivalent. Okay, because this is the same thing. A to the m over n also equals this. So you can also write it like this, where it's the cube root of 27 squared. All three of these are equivalent. Now, what's going to be easiest to work with, especially if you don't have a calculator? Is it going to be easier for me to take the cube root of 27 and then square that answer, or is it going to be easier for me to do 27 squared and then take the cube root of that? Which one's going to be easier? Anna, what do you think?
The square of cube of 27.
Right, this middle one is going to be your easiest way to do it. Because the cube root of 27 is 3. 3 squared is 9, thank you.
Well, I fall in the salute. So.